As promised today, we are taking you to one of, if not the most spectacular places in Italy, Sorrento and the Isle of Capri. We are on days 4 and 5 of our small group tour from Rome to Amalfi with Intrepid Travel. We are loving the tour, especially because it's so relaxing, there's no early starts, no rushing, and we've got time to explore on our own if we want to. In this episode, though, we will take you walking through the gorgeous lemon-themed streets of Sorrento, through the piazzas and bustling shopping areas full of cafes, bars and restaurants. Next, we go to the most atmospheric, beautiful restaurant where we dine, get this, under the twinkling lights in the lemon trees of a citrus orchard. It was so nice. One of our favourite days in Italy was taking a private boat to the Isle of Capri. Luca, our guide, arranged this for us as it was an optional excursion, and it was magical. The sparkling, twinkling blue water, jumping off the back of the boat to bob around in the Mediterranean, the views at the top of the Isle of Capri, and then singing and enjoying our trip all the way home. To finish our perfect day, we did a gelato making class, which turned out to be so much fun. We tell you all about the most popular and best gelato in all of Sorrento and the family who have been making it for generations, plus some of the weird, if not disgusting flavours that they've made. Stay listening to the end to hear one of my funniest jokes. Lyle made me tell it. Oh, and I even sing a few bars of the song that will always remind me of the fond memories of this tour, especially Sorrento and the Capri boat trip, plus the wonderful friends we've made. If you'd like to see all the pictures of this stunning part of Italy or find out more about the Intrepid travel tour we're doing, then you should definitely take a look at the show notes by clicking the link to episode 71 in the podcast player you are now listening on. Please enjoy episode 71. Cheers! And welcome to the Beach Travel Wine Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Leanne.
And I'm Lyle, and this is the travel podcast for beach-loving, wine-drinking couples over 50.
So if that sounds like you, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax and listen as we go travelling the world, one wine at a time.
Cheers.
Good morning, Lyle.
Buongiorno, Leonita.
And welcome listeners to episode 71 of the Beach Travel Wine Podcast. And today we are taking you to, as I said in the intro, one of the most beautiful places in all of Italy. Si or no?
Totally agree.
But before that, we are finishing off. Last episode, we talked all about Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius in episode 70. And we finished that episode where we were basically got down Mount Vesuvius after our hike and hopped in a car.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so after our Mount Vesuvius adventure, we were picked up by our private transport for our 26.6 kilometre or 45 minutes to an hour trip to the beautiful, exquisite coastal town of Sorrento in southwestern Italy.
Okay, so before we tell everyone a bit about Sorrento, I just want to remind you that we are doing a 7-night, 8-day tour with Intrepid Travel, which is a small group travel company, and we're loving the tour, aren't we?
We don't have to remind me, I was there.
You as in...
sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
I think there might be someone listening.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Sorrento faces the Bay of Naples on the Sorrentine Peninsula. Although the views along the narrow coastal roads are simply breathtaking,
They are. Yes.
You could also be forgiven for losing your breath because of the chaotic traffic.
Yes.
The roads are narrow. There's lots of tunnels and there's lots of traffic.
Well, I guess when the roads were made, they weren't thinking of huge tourist buses and all the bigger vehicles that want to go along there. And then also the crazy drivers that want to overtake in places that shouldn't be allowed, and also motorbikes that just want to...
Oh, yeah, sure. There's a bunch of motorbikes. And, yeah, that's a fair call. I mean, it really is a fair call. So, yeah, look, the Sorrento is just under 10 square kilometres in area. Its elevation is 15 metres or 160 feet. And the population is 16,600.
So when you say 50 metres, I'm sure you're going to tell people about this, but you're basically on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, all the way. Yeah. So
But you're right on the water.
So Sorrento is perched atop cliffs
Yes.
that separate the town from the busy marina.
Mm.
Now, Sorrento is served by a ferry or hydrofoil from Naples or Capri, as well as boat services from the ports of the Bay of Naples and the Sorrentine Peninsula. So the waterway itself is super busy.
Yeah, I wonder how long it takes to get from Naples. Probably should have checked that one out, but luckily we had a private vehicle because we're on our Intrepid Travel tour.
Yeah, sure. Now, do you want to know the history of Sorrento?
Yes, it probably involves lemons. Probably not.
Well,
they arrive sometime.
Yeah. So,
yeah, give us a bit
well,
of
I tell you what, I can tell you about lemons. Their native lemon is the Saint Teresa lemon.
Well, look at you go. Well, we will. Yes, tell us a bit about the history, but I'm sure me and the listeners are keen to talk about how beautiful it is.
Okay, the Roman name for Sorrento was Sorrentum. Sorrentum. In mythology, according to Greek historians, Sorrento was founded by Lipanus, son of Orsanus, who was the king of Ossani, and the son of Ulysses and Circe. Now, Ulysses was a Greek king. Circe was a minor goddess whose party trick was if someone sort of annoyed her or pissed her off, she'd just turn them into an animal. So,
it's a good party trick.
Now, in the pre-Roman age, Sorrento was influenced by the Greek civilization.
Okay.
After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, it was ruled by the Ostrogoths, which were a Germanic people, and then returned to the Eastern Empire or the Byzantine Empire. Initially part of the Duchy of Naples, later Sorrento became, in turn, an autonomous duchy in the 9th century.
A duchy is like a region, is it, or a?
Well, it's basically run by a duke.
Okay.
I
see.
So basically,
kingdom.
A little kingdom. So
okay.
the king would sort of allocate an area to probably a supporting duke.
Okay.
So that's what that was. In 1558, Sorrento was sacked by elements of the Ottoman Navy as part of the struggle between the Turks and the Spain. Now, the Spain controlled the southern half of Italy at that time. In 1861, Sorrento was officially annexed to the new Kingdom of Italy.
Well, there you go.
So that's
you'd want to claim it if you had the King of Italy. You'd be like, we want to have that area.
Sure. Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically the history. So you know, like all parts of Italy, you know, the Spains had there go, the French had there goes the Normans, and everybody's.
I don't know that a lot of people go to Sorrento for the historic buildings, although there are some there that we're going to talk about a little bit. But you obviously go for the beauty of it, the reputation, the Instagram photos, you know, all the above. Yeah.
Oh, look, it is absolutely spectacular.
It is, yeah. So we've been picked up. As I said, we're on our small group tour. There's 8 of us, and our guide Luca.
Yes.
And you know, we've told you about the tour before, but you know, Intrepid basically there, and you know, you've got to say we're now on, you know, day 4, so we get what their mission is. Good views. How's this for Sorrento? Good views, good friends, good times, in over 1,000 trips in 100 countries. So we certainly are having good views, good times, good friends.
Yeah, look, it's so far it's been incredible.
And that fact that we didn't have to drive that far to get to where we are, and then we arrived at lunchtime and we had the afternoon, didn't we? Yeah.
Obviously, in an effort to mitigate problems with the traffic, our private transport could not drop us off at the door of the hotel. But
there's sort of like a bus stop area that they all drop you off, but it's not that far.
It was about 400 metres.
Yeah. And a flat walk, so, you know, a few cobblestone streets, but still a pretty flat walk. So
we were staying at the Hotel del Corso.
Yeah.
That's halfway between Piazza Tasso and the port of Sorrento.
Porto Sorrento, yep, okay.
Now, that is only a short walk to the Marina Piccola, which is basically the ferry area and also where all the boats are moored.
Okay.
It's a family-run hotel set on the second floor of an elegant 18th century property, which was once a noble residence.
Yeah, and once again, that's what Intrepid do. They put you right in the centre of town in a locally owned business. And this was a great spot, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, it was fabulous. Look, the rooms were spacious,
Yep.
with air conditioning, private bathrooms, and TV, and breakfast was included.
The thing I liked about it most was the huge balcony.
That and the bar that was associated with that.
The bar, yeah.
Look, just to give you a quick idea, I had a quick look on Booking.com. Their overall rating was 8.7. And the location was 9.8, which was well deserved.
Yeah.
And I actually had a quick look. It was about $700 a night to stay. So that's incredible.
Well, it's good value when you.
Well, I suppose it's where the location.
Well, and it's sticking to what they say they're going to do is get you in town in a locally owned business, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so as it was only lunchtime and we're already at our destination, this beautiful Sorrento, we're all keen to head out and have a quick walk around with Luca, really, him to give us some info, didn't he?
Yeah. So, Luca pointed out the Marina Piccola and showed us Piccola, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Marina Piccola,
and showed us through what seemed like a tunnel dug into the rock in the 3rd century from the centre of Torino, where you can access the Marina Grande beach. He pointed out Via San Cesario, smaller shops, and a very cramped, condensed walkway that reminded me of actually the Centro Storico in Naples. Lots of souvenir shops, fashion boutiques, bars.
We did it. Yeah, so once we arrived, Luca sort of took us out and just showed us the main parts because we had the afternoon free, didn't we? So we had a bit of a look around, and that's when we really discovered how high up we were up compared to the marina. Yes.
Yeah. Look, he showed us. We actually when we were walking through, he gave us a bit of a rough idea on the Piazza Tasso, but he also, when we were on this orientation walk, he mentioned that the piazza is on the edge of the old town at the end of the beginning of the pedestrianised section of Corso Italia, filled with fun shops, restaurants, and lots of gelato shops. Now,
we were staying on that road, weren't we?
That's right. So that balcony that you love the most, that looked down on
the main road in Sorrento.
Corso Italia.
Everything going on. It was great.
Yeah, and that's where all the big high brand shops are and that sort of thing. So,
and also I found that that you probably don't know if you noticed that they still had a lot of football memorabilia in Sorrento.
I probably didn't, but that doesn't surprise me that you did. Okay. He also pointed out the Marina Piccola on foot from Piazza Tasso.
Yes.
Take the stairs down about 100 steps to the port. The marina consists of a pier with a wharf and a typical outer breakwater, closing a harbour within which are moored pleasure craft.
Now we did go down to the marina. We're going to tell you about that a little bit later, but suffice to say, it's steep, and where you're looking from Piazza Tasso down the stairs, it's 50 meters high, and there's a road that comes in, and these big motorhomes can hardly do the big U-turn that you need to do, or horseshoe shaped road. It comes in and around, and I was watching them from up the top, and they were having to do like a 3-4 point turn to get their vehicles around that corner. Yeah, it was amazing. So
yeah, it was. It's tight. It's definitely tight.
Now, I haven't mentioned, but as everybody knows, if you've listened to podcasts before, we do have a web page that goes along with this episode with lots of photos, and I did go a bit overboard on the photos of Sorrento, and because it's so beautiful. That's beachtravelwine.com, episode 17. 21, where you'll see some of those pictures, and it's worth going to have a look. And I'll have a link to, obviously, the tour that we're doing with Intrepid, so you want to have a look at what's involved in that as well.
Yeah, the beaches are a little bit different than the beaches in Australia.
A little.
Yeah, well, a lot.
Yeah.
Like nestled in a little bay between Marina Piccola and the Marina Grande, Bagni de Salvatore offers a lovely sunbathing and swimming platform. So there's
platform. You see what they say there? It's not beach, it's platform.
Platform, yeah. So
you're not sitting on sand. You're either sitting on rocks or pebbles.
Yeah.
And the water's beautiful.
Yeah, look, it is, but even in the water, you really are standing on pebbles all the way through.
Yeah.
But Leanne also, when we got there, she sort of said, "Well, where's the nudie beach?"
Yeah,
and
because I say that every time.
Yeah, she does. She does. So,
and did you go and find it for me?
I did. Sorrento's nudist beach, the Lasso di Lara, a quiet, lovely beach area on the Bay of Naples in the Capo de Sorrento coastal area.
Right.
It's about 10 minutes south of the Sorrento town square.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a 10-minute taxi ride of about €15, but it is a private beach.
Oh, well, good.
And
they wouldn't let us in.
So it's a bit of a walk to get there, like most nudie beaches.
But can you imagine, though, like it's hard enough to sit on the rocks and things with swimmers on. You know, imagine that.
Yeah, I suppose you'd be like being toast, wouldn't you? Depends. But anyway, so that was totally irrelevant to what we were talking about. But I did see that in my research, and I thought, how can I slide that in?
Yeah.
And it didn't really work that well. But anyway, okay.
So are we going to talk about Corsa Italia and we've done that, like with the main Corsa Italia is the main street, which is full of all the high-end shops. And one of the my favourites was a chocolate shop, which had these big fountains of chocolate coming down. You can see them in the windows, remember that? Oh, my gosh. And fashion and lemons.
Yeah, well, we actually went to, if you remember, the smaller street that
the
Via San Cesareo.
Yeah.
And like as I said, it was reminded me of the narrow streets in Naples. And we actually, if you remember, we had a limoncello slushy.
Yes, yeah. So that was delicious.
Yeah, it was. It was really nice.
It was really quite hot. So, we've had a bit of an orientation walk. We've seen where the marina is and the piazzas, and we checked out sort of the main areas. And then it was time to head out for lunch. Yes.
Correcto.
Lunchtime, yay! So once again, like when you're traveling on one of these tours, you don't have to make any of the decisions.
Yeah.
Or you can. You don't have to go along to the lunches and things. It's always optional. But we all went along to this lovely little restaurant that Luca chose.
Yeah.
And it wasn't far from the hotel, maybe, a couple of 100 meters.
No, Luca had booked the Il Leone Rosso for lunch. It's a mainly seafood menu, and the menu was spectacular. Seriously, obviously Sorrento being on the coast, obviously you're going to have seafood.
And we were lucky enough to snag a nice big table outside.
Yeah, and look, it was just fabulous.
We worked up an appetite after our big hike in the morning and little walk around the city. We were all ready for lunch, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was finished off with a free limoncello shot, which is we're getting quite used to.
And we then had free time, yeah?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Which is nice. So it's one of the the things we like about this small group tour is that you had 2 nights in places and you had a lot of free time. So people, as we said, we did a bit of an orientation walk, so we'd seen where everything was, and then everyone sort of went off in their own ways. Some people wanted to shop for souvenirs, some people wanted to go down to the marina, some people wanted to go and have a swim at the beach area. I think we went and did some wandering around the streets and found some nice little restaurants with amazing views, checked out some of the shops, which once I said, full of lemons, the chocolate shop, just wandering around, taking it all in, because it's just there's nothing like the shopping in Sorrento. I think it's my favourite little place to shop. Like just
It had a real vibe about
had
it.
a real vibe.
Yeah, it was sort of almost, I don't know, like a bazaar sort of vibe, market
vibe, yeah. But there are some historic buildings, and Luca did anyone who wanted would go with him and check out the church in Sorrento. And I think a couple of the girls did that, but we'd been in, this was our 8th week in Italy, and we'd seen a lot of churches, so we didn't do that. We did go down, walk past it, and there's a lot of old buildings and stuff that are just beautiful walking around town as well.
Yeah, I think Sorrento is only a very, very small area, really. Yeah. So, you can see the whole of Sorrento, I reckon, in probably about an hour.
Well, if you walk as quick as we do.
Yeah, that's
true. You
could
certainly wander a bit longer. But so what we did was we were meeting up again after our afternoon. Did we have a quick drink on the balcony? I think we might have had a quick drink on the balcony that day, because it was a really beautiful big balcony with flowers and lots of seating, and so we all met there, and they had some wine for sale and beer, so we had a couple of drinks before we headed off to our dinner. Now, I don't know that Luca told us where we were going for dinner, and it was a bit of a walk, about a 10-minute walk.
Yep.
And but I didn't mind that, because you sort of got out of the madness of the town, and where we were, I wouldn't know that most tourists would know about this restaurant.
No. I think it'd be more for the tour.
So let me describe it. So all of a sudden, you come across this opening in a fence, and you can see inside there's all these lemon trees, and you walk in, and there's no building to be seen. There's you're in a lemon orchard.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, a citrus orchard. Yeah.
Citrus orchard. So you're walking this path that's probably 50 to 100 meters long. And as we're getting there, it's starting to get dark. So there's fairy lights, or like lights sort of strung between the trees. And so, the atmosphere is beautiful. You can smell the citrus. So you're just wandering through these beautiful trees, through this pathway with these lights coming on, the smell of the citrus, and all of a sudden you arrive at this outdoor restaurant, which is right in the heart of a lemon orchard, citrus orchard.
Yeah, look, it was beautiful. The actual setting sort of almost took your breath away. It was so nice and such a relaxed vibe. And of course, the weather was just perfect.
It was perfect. So good old Luca, he picked another one and took us there. I think that was one of our favourite nights, wasn't it?
I think so. I think everybody was starting to get a lot more relaxed with each other.
Yeah, and just before you tell some of the stories, because there were a few stories about this night, go and have a look at beachtravelwine.com episode 71, because I've put some photos just of this restaurant, and you can just see, the walk-in that we went to, and how beautiful it was. And there's a photo of all of us sitting around the table. Well, not me, because I took the photo. All of us sitting around the table as well. So, and it wasn't packed full of people. The tables were spread out.
Yeah, that was the one thing. Yeah, again, that's what sort of made me think that maybe it was very much for the tour groups, because they were quite large tables, but they were quite a distance away from each other.
There were some single tables too, though. I think it was just for people who know about it,
Yeah. And probably fortunate that the tables were a distance away, because, as I said, this particular night, everybody's starting to be more comfortable with each other's company, and for some reason, I think it may have been, I think
the pre-dinner drinks, or the drinks with dinner, or
yeah. So, and we're all enjoying the beautiful wine, and it got to that time of the night where I think someone offered maybe €10 for the best joke or something. Anyway,
I doubt what's happened. What's happened is you and Annie have decided to tell your jokes.
Well, yeah, that's true,
and your joke's totally inappropriate. Involves a penguin. Involves him driving.
The penguin, yeah.
And involves
a blown seal.
Yeah, on the car, yep.
And an ice cream. And correct. What about yours? Come on, tell the full joke, because it's a good joke. Come on.
It's a travel podcast, mate.
Yeah, come on, tell the joke.
I can't even remember it. Mick goes to the doctor. No, Paddy goes to the doctor because he's having trouble in the bedroom with his wife. And so Mick comes around to see him. Paddy's in the barn.
The barn, yeah.
Dancing naked in front of a tractor. Mick says to him, "What are you doing, Paddy?" And Paddy said, "Well, I'm into the doctor and I'm having trouble in the bedroom with my wife." And he said I should do something sexy to a tractor. Really? I'm sorry, folks. I may edit that out so it doesn't make it. You won't.
But anyway, everybody told a joke.
Yeah.
And
Cassia told a joke. Annie told her mouth a joke. And people were laughing. We had the best night. It was a real bonding.
It was great.
Because we'd had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And we were pretty excited because the next day, oh my gosh, we were heading off to do something absolutely amazing.
And just one last thing, at the end of the night we had another shot of limoncello. So can I just tell people what limoncello is?
Sure then. Yeah,
okay, so limoncello,
yes,
a traditional lemon liqueur that is made by infusing lemon peel into vodka. And the Sorrento's lemons are the St. Teresa lemons.
You already said that.
I did. And they're the native lemon. And seriously, it is absolutely beautiful.
Yes, it is.
But it's quite alcoholic. I think it's about 30% proof. So
it's potent. Yes. Anyway, so we didn't want to drink too much because we had a big day the next day. See or not?
See.
Right, the start of day 5 of our fabulous tour with Intrepid Travel. We're just having the best time. We're up for a nice brekkie on the balcony.
Correct.
And overlooking the main street. It's just wonderful. And we're excited. Why are we excited?
Because we're going to the Isle of Capri.
Yeah. So
on a boat.
Yeah. So today is an optional free day, and you basically don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. But Luca had arranged, if we wanted to, we could take a almost private boat. Over to the Isle of Capri, and we could jump off the boat, have a swim, all that sort of stuff. And even though it wasn't cheap, I mean, was it? It was €130.
Yeah, well, it was €130 per person, but it was for 8 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't sound cheap, but we think was great value, and it's one of those once in a lifetime experiences that was really worth paying for.
Look, I would say for an experience. A fun experience. I think it was the best experience we had.
A stereotypical Italian experience.
Yeah, in the 8 weeks. It was that good.
Yeah, so we head off, and we did mention that we were up on a 50-metre cliff and there's over 100 stairs to get down the bottom. Well, guess what? We had to go down those 100 stairs, didn't we?
Yep.
Because it's the only way down to the marina. And the marina was pumping, wasn't it? There was a lot of people, and because there is like a public sort of like a hydrofoil, I think, that goes across, so people are wanting to do that. But we're on our tour. Luca's organised it. We've got this beautiful wooden boat. It's like you feel like you're in a movie.
Well, you'd probably call it a launch, I suppose. I mean,
launch, would you? I've never heard anything called a launch.
Yeah, maybe. But it was beautiful.
Anyway, there's photos of it on the website, lots of photos. We're waiting a little while because the deckhand or the assistant, his girlfriend's coming for the day and she hasn't quite turned up. But I can see why he's waiting for her. She was rather glamorous and beautiful.
Yeah.
So we... Luckily, our boat's right there. We hop in. There's, our group and probably 4 or 6 others. I can't remember.
4.
Okay. I say 6, he says 4. Bananas, tomato. And we feel like we're in, as I said, in a movie. It's this wooden boat. It's shiny, isn't it? It's got a cover up the front. There's a big area up the front for sunbaking.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know, they're just so friendly. They've got eskies full of water, beer, wine, So
yeah, so basically the deal includes lunch, and what it was paninis, and they were absolutely beautiful. Beer, wine, soft drinks, and return boat ride.
You had to take your shoes off as you got on.
Sure.
Chuck them in the
the bucket,
yep.
And that's because I think it's because of the floors of the boat. And the things to take, you need to take sunscreen, hat, sunglasses, and towel.
And swimmers.
Yeah, and of course swimmers. Yeah. So as Leanne said, there was There was plenty of room at the front for sunbaking on the boat, and there was plenty of shade towards the back of the boat. Look, it was pretty spacious. I think there was about 11 people on the boat all up, and look, there was just plenty of room.
Yes, and
So
mostly half of them went up the front.
Yep.
To sit up, sit up there and watch the world go by, and we sat at the back under the shade, and we could see what we were going past, and we're basically just out on this beautiful water, and we head out from the marina past Sorrento.
Yeah, but as we sort of take off, obviously the deckhand explains the safety features, the facilities on board, and what was included. And as we said, you could have as much beer and wine and soft drink as you liked.
It's a bit early though, wasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah. So and basically we've gone on. We spread out between the deckhands commentary. The playlist was really, really good. They had beautiful music.
Yeah.
It was all the sing along music. The weather was perfect. The sun was shining. The Mediterranean was shimmering. The scenery was unbelievable, and the beer was cold, and the music was awesome.
Oh, there's Lyle taking my job, being the describer now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So let's talk about the day though, because it's a long day.
Sure.
So we head out from the marina, and as you go out, you've got Sorrento on your left, and so you can see the cliffs and the other sort of beach areas as you're going. You're sticking pretty close to the coastline. There's quite a lot of boats, and you're not going that fast, obviously, because it's quite like swelly, mayty, even though it's a nice
you've got
day.
a lot of wake.
Yes. But once you sort of get up around the sort of headland of Sorrento, it basically calms out a bit and the speed picks up. And you're just sitting there, you got the wind in your hair, you've got as Lyle was saying, just the beautiful water, you're checking out the views, you can see some lots of other boats, yachts, and then as you said, the playlist. I'm going to tell you a bit about the playlist because after lunch we had a bit of a fun time, and it's probably one of my most fondest memories of this whole trip. And every time I hear this one song, I think of this trip and some people on the board that we were singing with. So we're going to talk about that a bit later. So beautiful trip out. Did we stop on the way out before lunch? I don't think we did.
Well, we were originally, because probably one of the really big highlights of the Capri, Capri Island tour is called the Grotto Azzurra.
So the Blue Grotto.
The Blue Grotto. Now, the Blue Grotto in the island of Capri is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Now, I wasn't sure about that, so I checked that information, and everywhere I checked, it is definitely one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Inside the cave, the water is impossibly blue thanks to the light passing through, causing an ethereal effect. Now, ethereal means an extremely delicate and light in a way that seems not to be of this world.
Now, I do have some photos that I got from someone else to put in the web page, because we, unfortunately, the weather, the seas conditions weren't.
Look, I think you've got to be aware. I think you've got to be aware, and we've got to be straight down the line here. You're going to be very, very lucky to be able to go in there.
30% of the time.
Yeah, okay. I think that's what Luca told us. Because you've got, depends on how the sea is, how rough it is, and also depends on when the tide's in and out. So just to give you an idea how this works, there is a hole at the bottom of the cave about 9 meters wide, directly below the entrance to the grotto. The hole filters sunlight from outside of the cave and combines the entrance light to illuminate the sea waters, which gives it a glowing effect. The cave extends some 50 meters into the cliff at the surface, and listen to this, and is about 150 meters or 490 feet deep with a sandy bottom. So it's just a combination of the sand, I suppose, the color of the sand, both the entries of the light. Now, we unfortunately didn't get in. And I said to Leanne last night when we were talking about doing this, I said, I'm glad that I didn't know or I hadn't seen the photos
of how good it was.
Because I would have been so disappointed that we couldn't go in.
Sure.
But I'm pretty sure Leanne's got some photos.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
I got some photos that I can include, so you can have a look at that. So they did take us to show us where the entrance was, and you could probably see about a metre of that 9 metres. So there's no way you were going in. But what we did do on our way to Capri, and when we stopped, and also in the afternoon, but there are other areas that you can actually take the boat into. I wouldn't call them, well, maybe caves. They're almost caves along the edge of Capri. And
the little grottos.
Yeah, grotto, yeah. But you can actually, like stay on your big boat and you go in and around and you follow other boats. And I've got some amazing photos, because this is the place where you see those photos of the boats and they look like they're floating on nothing.
Yeah, some of those photos you've got are just outstanding.
Yeah,
I don't know whether maybe I'm not sure, but obviously photography skills. But the way you've got it, because the boats seem to not actually be in the water. And I don't know whether that's because the boats have got like a white hull or what it is, but they just seem like they're suspended.
So you do a bit of, in and out of these beautiful grottos on the way. And once we did that, we then arrived at Capri, and we arrived at the marina called Marina Piccolo, and they've now brought in these rules that you have a time where your boat can go in, and therefore, everybody had to be ready to get off the boat, because it's not, it used to be a bit of mayhem, but they've worked it out now. So everyone has their turn, you get off, and then the boat goes. So our boat guy, our captain, dropped us all off at Marina Piccolo, yeah? So we've stepped off our boat, we're on the Isle of Capri. You got some information about the Isle of Capri, which I'm sure our listeners would love to hear about.
Well, I think I took this description directly from the Intrepid
Travel
spiel.
Yes.
So Capri's dramatic rocky coastline is perched by natural grottos.
You can just read it normally.
Sorry. I'll start that again. Sorry, I messed that up. Capri's dramatic rocky coastline is pierced by natural grottos, while the interior, narrow roads winding through fragrant citrus groves, past villages of flat-roofed, white, cubist-looking houses with flower-filled gardens and manicured towns, which offer swanky hotels and chic cafes.
Whoa.
Now, we didn't really get a chance to do the whole lot,
no.
But what we saw was swank and it was chic. Now, the history, Capri was first discovered by Emperor Augustus in the early years of the Roman Empire.
But he was happy. Woohoo, look what I found.
He often resided there and built many temples, villas, and gardens as a way of having his own private paradise. Villa Hovis, which is the Villa of Jupiter, is a Roman palace on Capri built by Emperor Tiberius and completed in 27 AD. Tiberius ruled mainly from there until his death in 37 AD. Now, they say that the Blue Grotto was Tiberius's private swimming hole.
Oh, there you
go.
And
they've actually found statues and that on the bottoms of the surface, Roman statues from the Tiberius era.
That's interesting.
That's basically the history.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we didn't see a lot of Capri. We hopped off on one side of the island, as I said, the sort of smaller port, and Luca sort of gave us some options, didn't he?
Yeah, what we could do in the 2-hour time slot that we had
to explore. So he was just going to stay, down the bottom, and we were obviously wanted to get to the top, and only a fool would walk up there.
Yeah. We actually caught a cab for the 3-minute €25 trip to the top.
So say again, 3-minute €25. Yeah.
Trip to the top. But look,
There were 6 of us though.
Yeah, but the actual cab driver or taxi driver, he was worth the money. He was hilarious, and he was a good guy, friendly. And once he took us got to the I suppose the taxi rank up the top, he did give us a bit of a tourist information of where we could go and whatever. So
I got some nice photos on the way up though.
Yeah. But in hindsight, I think the €25 between us all was pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Did you say he stopped to let us take photos of you?
No, I didn't, but he did.
Yeah, he did. That's what I mean. I got awesome, and I'm glad he did because we got probably angles of down over the down to the water that we wouldn't have seen otherwise. It was beautiful. Yeah. So go and check those photos out. Yes. Now, and once we're at the top.
Well, I'll just give you the rough dimensions of the island. The island is a single block of limestone. It's 3.9 miles or 6.25 kilometres long, with a maximum width of 1.8 mile and an area of 4 square miles or 10.4 square kilometres, rising to 1,932 feet or 589 metres at Mount Salaro in the west. And it's got a population of 12,900.
That's a lot. That's even more than Sorrento. I find that amazing, actually. But anyway.
Yeah, but funnily, I read somewhere where at any one time during the day, tourists are 80% of the population. So that probably gives you about 100,000 a day.
Okay, that's a lot of people. But it is beautiful, and... Oh, wow, it's like a movie set, really, isn't it?
Well, how would you describe it?
Well, I'd describe it as touristy as heck, but we did arrive at lunchtime, and we did go up to sort of the main plaza area where the best views are. So that's where everybody's going to be. But we snagged a table in an outdoor cafe, had a cold drink, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I've sort of got dot points of how I would describe it. I've got jam-packed with tourists.
See, there we go.
Chaotic.
Yes.
Exclusive.
Yeah. Yes.
High-end brands.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of looking around the shops, but yeah.
Dressed to impress. All the beautiful people. Blacked out car windows. And everybody thought that was, everybody was saying it was George Clooney's car. Like who knows?
Oh, he's up in Como, mate.
Yeah. Tightly seated cafes and
very
restaurants.
Tightly seated cafes.
So they're getting their money's worth there. And I've got movie set views.
Yeah, because there are movie sets. So where we were, there was like a beautiful sort of piazza area where we sat in a tightly squeezed cafe, had a drink.
The name of that piazza is the Piazza Umberto Primo. So Umberto the first.
But we had our lunch with us, so we didn't need to buy lunch. And remember, we found like some stairs up to a church, and we sat there sort of away from the crowds, just overlooking the beautiful views, eating our lovely panini
that was prepared by the
the company that we went with, the boat people. Yeah, it was great. So we enjoyed that. We got some nice photos. You and me and our friends Anne and Wayne got some pickies, and the girls went for a bit of a walk to find the gardens, have a bit more of a look around once again. 2 hours free time. I think Anne and Wayne wanted to stay up a bit longer, and they were going to walk down.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I just remembered that story.
And they got lost.
Yeah, so we
went down the wrong road.
I know. So they nearly took the whole hour that they had left trying to find their way back, and they were hot and bothered and not happy.
I think you're being a bit unkind.
Maybe, but anyway, I can say it because they're friends of ours, and I'm not making fun of them.
No, you're not. But we got
a taxi back down, didn't we?
Yeah, we paid another €25.
So we went back down to the water because we wanted to have a swim. Yes.
Just one of the things that from the views, you do see all the super yachts.
Yeah.
And they're all from the rich and famous. Like.
They're all waiting to come in when everyone leaves.
All the kings and princes and international acts, and they all stay on their boat during the day and wait for all the tourists to piss off, basically, so that they can come in and dine at the very, very exclusive restaurants.
Yes, that are sort of perched on the edge of the Capri with the views to die for.
Yeah, but looking down over the yachts and that sort of thing, it is amazing.
And we actually go past some of those yachts on our way going back around the island. That's right. So we went back down to the little marina area where there's a beach area, and Luca was there. So we the beach area was pretty jam-packed full, if you can call it the beach. And so we sort of sat down with him, put our stuff there. And, of course, you've got to have a swim. You've got to.
Yeah.
So
we did.
We did that. And
well, swim
got wet.
Is exaggerating. I think what we did is you stumble over the pebble, like it's not surface, but underneath.
Well, they hurt your feet.
Yeah. So when we struggled there, and there really wasn't enough room for actually to
there was.
Once you got out.
That's not true. Once you got out,
it's packed. Yeah. It is packed. But we did it. We can say that we have had a swim at one of the coves
at the Isle of Capri,
on the Bay of Naples.
And then, of course, we found somewhere to sit and have a drink while we filled in the rest of our time. And we had a very set time that we were to be picked up, as I mentioned before. They are. But tell people about the cost of some of these. There's some exclusive beaches, isn't there?
Yeah. There are 2 private beach clubs in La Fortellina and Da Luigi El Faraglione.
Just say 2 private
each
clubs,
of which has a highly acclaimed restaurant, both with unobscured views of the Faraglione rocks, which are 3 distinctive rocks jutting out from the Mediterranean. Now, there is a legend.
I know there is, but before you do that, I'm just going to say, go and have a look at our pictures, episode 671, because that is one of the stereotypical pictures that you will see of the Isle of Capri, and I captured it beautifully.
Yeah, it's a real big deal, which unfortunately I wasn't aware of when I was there. I only found out later. It's a little bit like the Blue Grotto. I found out a lot after I'd left. But anyway, the legend depicts Polyphemus, who was actually the son of Poseidon, who was the god of the sea.
Right.
He was a giant cyclops. He only had one eye, who lived in a grotto blinded by Ulysses and his companions. Thus, the giant, mad with anger and pain, chases them and throws 3 large stone boulders at their ships. So that's the Greek legend. So it's got to be true.
Right.
And that's why the 3 rocks are there.
Right. Okay. And how much does it cost you?
Oh, okay.
Yes. Before we get off the island, I want you to tell everybody the cost of what one of these. Okay, I'm going to tell you, €100 per day per person if you want to go to one of these private beaches. Yeah.
Yeah. But the spiel I read on one of the websites was, but you might be sitting next to a politician or a movie star or a world-class entertainer, and I thought to myself, for €100 each, if I'm sitting next to Lady Gaga, I'm expecting a couple of hits.
I know, right? Yeah. But then as we walked back down to get on the boat, there was an area that you could actually hire 2 chairs and an umbrella. And for the 2 chairs and an umbrella, it was €120 just to hire them for a few hours. Like, unbelievable. You don't remember that?
No, I don't. But that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Us girls were talking about it. It was just like, are you? And it was sitting up on.
You said the naughty word.
No, it wasn't. No. But it was sitting up on, on rocks. It's, wasn't even anyway. It's very expensive, but very glamorous, and you got to be part of it. So we had a set time. We would be picked up from the marina because, as I said, they're all on this time schedule, and when we're all there, they come in. And I've got once again, it's got these, like, the boat is floating. You've actually got our boat floating on the water, and the colour of the water and the Capri in the background, it's just stunning. So check them out at beachtravelwine.com, episode 71. So back on board we get, yes?
Yeah.
Now we get to my favourite part of the day was our boat trip home, because we got to jump off the boat and have a swim 2 times. We stopped 2 times, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, look, and they were really the crew were very patient and
encouraging. Because there's a few people like, I don't know. I'm like, I got to. You cannot.
I was one of the ones hesitating because I don't, as we've discussed in previous episodes, I don't like cold water. But anyway,
it wasn't that cold.
Well, it wasn't, but anyway, so they offered everybody if they wanted a life jacket for those that maybe weren't too confident swimmers. Leanne took up the offer and grabbed a life jacket and just jumped straight in. And I think I actually could see the look on the deckhand's face that you've grabbed the life jacket and put it on, and then you've just jumped in. And I just had to assure him that. There was no problem. Leanne can actually swim like a fish, but she just wanted to be able to just bob up and down in the water.
Yeah, because there's a bit of swell,
Yeah.
And
Wayne did his usual trick straight in. He didn't mess about, and
No.
like pretty much everybody jumped in. I submitted and jumped in. It was cool, but look,
I've got a photo to prove it.
Yeah, but you're in the Mediterranean, you're off Capri. I can tell everybody I've done it, so it's more of a bit of a gloating thing for me than actually the swim. And it was because the water's so blue, and it just shimmers, and it was just and we had the chance to do that twice, so it was special.
I'm going to do it, both times, loved it, and then as we're doing this, we're sort of pulling into these little coves where the rock formations, looking up at the cliff faces are just incredible. And that blue watercolor, and then you go through this one. I think it was one of those rocks that your mate Cyclops threw in the water. I'm not sure, with a big arch in the middle. Go and check out the photos of this. I had no idea. You actually go through this massive arch. Remember?
Yeah, natural arch.
Natural arch. And then, so I've got photos after we've been through. So I couldn't believe how big it was. And it's just in the middle of the water. It's not attached to the land. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Look, and I think. As I think the deckhand did tell us that as you go through it, you should, have a romantic kiss with your partner.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I don't think we did, and I'm not sure what the myth was all about. But it was great. Like you.
So then it was time for me to have a cold beer. I'm like, bugger this. We've had a big day.
And the beers were so cold.
It was so cold. And then I had, we would decide we're going to have a bit of a sing-along, and for some reason the song I sort of enjoyed, it was in my head through this trip, was a song called Flowers by Miley Cyrus, and Christy and Mandy just happened to love that song too, and the deckhand heard us singing it, and he asked what song it was, and he just played it on repeat, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times. And
look, and I think that you three girls thoroughly enjoyed it. Give everybody else probably on the boat the shits, because yes, you did. He was a lovely guy, and he did put it on repeat, and it was great. But eventually,
half of them were up the front and couldn't hear anyway.
How's the song go?
Go bite your bum.
Come on, give us a little bit.
No,
because I tell you what, girls, if you're listening, Leanne still drives me crazy singing that song. I reckon maybe once every flowers. Yeah.
Write my name in the sand.
Yeah.
Talk to myself for hours about things you don't understand.
Yeah, see, so
and
there
my favourite part, don't stop me.
Go on, sorry.
I can take myself dancing.
Now, Leanne normally's favourite singer is Jimmy Barnes. I got to tell you, it's nothing like that.
It's just a catchy song, and
I loved it. It is a catchy commercial
song. And I will always
song.
treasure that song. Every time I hear it, I will think of our fellow travellers, Christy and Mandy and Anne and Wayne and Cassia and Lynn and also Luca. I will bring back wonderful memories forevermore, that song.
You've forgotten someone. Anyway, look, it was a highlight for me of our Italian trip. Yeah. The Capri trip was
worth every single
absolutely fabulous. And because it was funny. I was actually while the girls were singing, I was just sitting there and I was just relaxed, and I was just contemplating. Damn, how lucky I've been to be able to do this.
Have a wife that can sing so well.
That actually wasn't the first thing I thought of. It may not have even been the second. But how lucky I am to be doing what I'm doing with Leonita and the rest of the crew. Seriously, it was fabulous.
Yeah, it was. And we would probably not have done that had we not been on this Intrepid tour.
Probably not.
No. So I'm so glad that that was part of it. All right, it's sad to leave that behind, but, back we go to Sorrento.
See,
And look, after a big day, we knew that we had a gelato making lesson coming up. And to be honest, I nearly gave it the flick. I'm like, we don't have to go. Oh, I'm going to be so tired. But I just thought, oh, why not? Like it's on the way to dinner. Luca's organised it. It's part of our tour. Everyone else is going. It'll be a nice chance to have some gelato. So off we go. And guess what?
it was fantastic.
It was another highlight, and probably for two reasons. The guy who taught the lesson was fabulous, and he owned one of the best gelato shops in all of Sorrento. And he spends a lot of time in Australia, so he knew our sense of humour. And
Well, his wife's Australian,
right. And the other thing is, Lyle got to star, didn't you? You got to get the sorbet or gelato out of the
yeah, and I nearly messed up.
You did. He was so nervous. You have to check out the photos. He was so nervous. But
I tell you what you were talking about. So it was Mario who's the owner of the shop. Now, this is my description of Mario.
So I thought it was David.
No, that's the name of the shop, but I'll give you the history, which will explain that. Because I got a bit
Everything's
confused.
got history, even the gelato shop.
Even the gelato shop, yeah, okay. And when you listen to this history, you're going to be blown away. Okay. I described Mario. The passion for gelato was passed down through. Oh no, here it is. What have I got?
Mario.
I've got
this one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Mario's natural charisma.
Yes.
Welcoming smile, and deep passion for his craftsmanship guarantees an exceptional experience.
Right. Did you write that yourself?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. I was blown away. Now, I'll give you the history. It all began around 1930 when Mario Gagliol, I can't say here, I'll just call it Mario because I can't pronounce his surname.
The older Mario.
Great-grandfather, compelled to leave Sorrento during World War II, started the family's first dairy in Frosinone, yeah. Yep. Returning to Sorrento with his family, Mario's grandfather, Augusto Davide, so that's where they get the David, followed his father's footsteps until 1956, when in 1957, the Davide family opened their first traditional gelateria in Sorrento. The passion for gelato was then passed down through Mrs. Maria Davide, Mario's mother, to the present day, continuing the family's tradition.
Okay, so it's Gelarita Davide is what it's called, and that's the surname.
Yeah. Now, during the demonstration, Mario shares some of the secrets of creating the perfect gelato. Participants learn the stages of preparation and the importance of quality ingredients.
Right. So what we do was, you go there and he has all the ingredients ready for you, and someone has to volunteer to measure stuff, and that
the syrup into
Lynn did that, and the whole time he's telling stories of making gelato and the flavors and how much they make, and and then all of a sudden it's in the machine and it's doing its thing. And probably within half an hour, we've got this big tray of lemon gelato. Yeah. And Lyle got it out of the machine. It was fun. And as you said, David was charismatic. Not David, sorry. Mario was charismatic and amazing. And he told us some stories. Like, they make between 200 and 300 kilos.
Correct.
Of this. A day, in the peak season.
Well, the shop actually opens from 8:30 in the morning and goes through to 1 o'clock in the morning on during summer, and David's there basically the whole time. Yeah. So Mario's there for that whole time, and I think he works on about 4 hours sleep a night.
In that season.
I think during the off season they actually close the shop down, and he basically travels or
comes back to Australia
regularly to Australia because his wife's
family have restaurants.
And he was talking about Vegemite flavoured gelato.
Well, they've made up over 300 different flavours. He says, someone challenges me, I have a go at it. He tries it. So. But we all got a certificate, didn't we, to say that we'd made gelato.
Well,
And-
other flavors,
Yeah.
just other flavors.
Yes.
You can have Parmesan cheese,
That'd be,
rosemary,
yes.
tomato and basil,
Ugh.
and Sorrento olive oil gelato.
Why?
I don't know, but that's his thing.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Marketing
He
and
is
stuff.
so
I
passionate
think
about what he does.
by making so much, he must sell a lot to the local restaurants as well. So, see, that was a fun thing at the end of the day. You know, we've come home from our Capri trip, we've had a shower, and we've headed out to this gelato making thing, which we weren't going to go to, but it was just so much fun. They give you a certificate with recipe on it on how to make your own gelato, which is pretty special. And then, of course, you know, it has all the links to the gelato shop. So yes.
Well, just one before we forget. He also tells you what to be careful of when you're buying gelato.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he said that bright colours are a sign of colour additives or the use of flavour gels and commercial juice mixes instead of natural ingredients. Mounds, right, indicate that they have been pumped into the gelato to make it more voluminous.
Well, air has been,
instead of flavoursome. So, and we're also told in Florence that if it's not covered,
but not a lot of them are covered though, are they?
Yeah, they're not really.
But you enjoyed that, didn't you? Making the gelato.
Oh, look, honestly, I thought I thought it was going to be pretty average, but it was him.
Yeah.
His personality, it just sold it. He was so good, and you get a free gelato.
Well, we had two actually. We had vouchers to get a free gelato with 2 flavors after dinner because we were going to dinner again. But that once again, this is something that we would never ever have done if we weren't on the Intrepid Travel tour, right?
Yeah. Look, what a day! I was just, and then we went to dinner.
We did go to dinner. We are happy. We've had a fabulous day. We've had gelato that you've made. And Lynn was fascinated with that because she's made ice cream at home, remember?
Yep.
And we could never work out. So she took Mario aside and said, told it, well, not really, but, they chatted about, what she was going to try when she got home. So,
and what she was basically doing wrong.
Yeah. I'll have to ask her. I'll message her and see if she's actually made it since she's been home. Yes. Now, luckily, the place we're going for dinner
was right next door.
Yeah.
And it's where we had lunch the day before.
And I think, we all just said, Luca, we love that. It was close. It's next door. We might as well go there.
Yeah. So Luca organised the table for us. It was inside this time. And it was the Il Leone Rosso restaurant. Now, I can remember this meal specifically. It was absolutely magnificent. I had the grilled sea bream. And Leonita had the lobster pasta.
I think Cassia might have had the lobster pasta as well. There was 2 of us that did.
Yeah, anyway, and you loved it. And my fish.
Hey, lobster pasta. Hello.
Yeah, well, my fish was just outstanding. And so we, again, old Luca, he organised payment for
it's so good.
For the meal for everybody.
It just makes it so easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, and look, to be honest, from what I remember, it wasn't that deal. And we had a bottle of wine.
We always pay more because we always get a bottle of wine.
Yeah, but from what I remember, it was pretty reasonably priced.
I think one of the girls, all she had was one meal, and it was under €20. Basically that was her dinner cost.
Well, your lobster pasta was €25.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And it was perfect. So anyway, we all decided that we'd had a big day, so we went back to the hotel and we thought, what else are we going to do but have a nightcap on the balcony overlooking the Corsa Italia. And the streets were still really busy. It was probably early to some extent, but, we were all buggered basically.
Yeah, we'd had a great day. So we all just sat and chatted about our perfect day in Sorrento and at the Isle of Capri, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I think you girls decided you were going to sing at one stage, but I think there was a noise limit on.
Was that when we got asked to turn the music off and other people turned up? Was that something?
I think that's what it was.
I can buy myself flowers. Never going to forget that. So, what a wonderful experience, though. Hey?
Yeah. It was That was one of my best days for just having fun.
Yeah.
In the whole of the 8 weeks we were there.
Yeah. However, you didn't really like walking back up those stairs from the marina.
I was.
You're a bit. It is a long walk.
Cranky.
Yep.
Was the word. Yeah.
Yep.
I was just. Yeah. I just thought. But anyway, it was a small price to pay.
Yeah, it was a small price to pay. So that's basically our days, 4 and 5 of our Intrepid Travel small group tour from Rome to Amalfi. And our next episode, we will be actually going to Amalfi. Yeah, for our last 2 nights. Yes, bit sad. Going through it again and then finishing it all again.
Yeah, but we did play up again.
In Amalfi, yeah, that's a big story there. But anyway, that's for another podcast. Yeah, lots of stories coming up. So, but before we go, let me ask you your favourite place to have a glass of wine. I'm going.
In Sorrento?
Yeah.
And Capri? Oh God, everywhere.
Yeah.
Just everywhere. It's funny, I was thinking about it. I'm probably thinking about, and it wasn't actually a glass of wine. It was having a really cold beer on a way back from Capri on the boat, and just while you girls were having so much fun singing that, what's her name, Miley Cyrus's song. I was just sitting there thinking, how good is this?
Yes, and mine. Like the balcony, maybe, but I think at the restaurant, the
Limonella.
Yeah, restaurant.
Yeah, I thought about that too, because that was a really fun night. Like everybody was so much more comfortable with each other.
Where else are you going to sit in a lemon orchard and have dinner? But Sorrento.
Yeah, and tell dirty jokes.
Yeah, in Sorrento. So, but go to before we say goodbye, go and check beachtravelwine.com. Go to the podcast tab, episode 71, which is where you'll see all the photos. We've got photos of the Sorrento streets, the main area, photos of our boat trip, photos of Capri, the Blue Grotto, the Lemon Restaurant, photos of the gelato making, and a couple of photos of our group, doing some stuff. I'll put some photos of us there. And also there's an interactive map, so I'll be putting the restaurants we talked about and where we stayed, and like the places that the gelato shop, they'll all be marked on the map, and you can click on that and find out more about them and see exactly where they are in Sorrento. So until next time, it's goodbye from me.
Arrivederci.